People are getting very excited today about a new poll that puts the Green Party on 15%, just 2 points behind Labour and the Conservative Party. Is this a sign of things to come? Well, it's certainly possible. After all, since the Green Party elected Zach Polanski as their leader, they've been doing very well. The party have gained 20,000 new members and growing by the day, and the Green Party have started to do a lot better in the polls. When Zach Polanski took over, they were polling around about 9%, and that's ticked up ever so slightly, maybe gaining 1 to 2 percentage points. But the trend is very clear. The Green Party are growing in support. And in my view, that is because the Labour vote is fracturing in all directions. Now, mostly this has benefited Reform UK, but some of the support is falling to the Liberal Democrats and some to the Green Party. Here's John Curtice to explain that fracturing, and then I'll go into things in a little bit more detail.
Actually look at where those people who voted Labour last year have gone if they've defected. Well, yes, 1 in 8 of them have gone to Reform. But that said, 1 in 8 of them have also gone to the Democrats, and another 1 in 10 have gone to the Greens. So in other words, Labour's coalition isn't just going to Reform, it's fracturing all over the place.
Now, it's not surprising to me that the Labour vote is fracturing in all directions. What Labour had in 2024 was an incredibly fragile electoral coalition that only made up 33.7% of voters in the country. And that voting coalition was really motivated by getting rid of the Conservative Party from office. It wasn't a voting coalition that was enthusiastically behind Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. And so the fact that it's fracturing now doesn't surprise me. And it particularly doesn't surprise me that there's an opportunity on the left in politics for the Green Party to capitalise on Labour's failure. The Labour Party, since Starmer took office, have been outwardly hostile to the left, and that means they've been actively hostile towards their most loyal voters. So-called progressive activists make up 12% of the population, and they were, up until Keir Starmer became leader, Labour's most loyal voters. And Labour's strategy with this segment of the population, by the way, at the next election, is to say to them, it's either us or it's Reform. And what the Green Party under Polanski are trying to do is to say to that segment of voters, actually, you do have a choice, and it's to vote for a progressive party that really believes in change. And I think this strategy is going to work for the Green Party because essentially what the Labour Party have done is that they've surrendered their historic mission in politics. The whole point of the Labour Party, when they come into office, is to implement change. Attlee did that in 1945 by implementing the Beveridge Report and creating the post-war consensus. Wilson did that more through social reform in the 1960s into the 1970s, and however much we might think that Blair's reforms were not that great, there was genuine change under Blair with massive investment in public services and tackling things like child and pensioner poverty, as well as constitutional reforms and entrenching things like our human rights, the Human Rights Act, the Equality Act. So there was change under Blair as well. So this is the mission of the Labour Party. And I think if they don't do this, or if they're not seen to do this, then people start to wonder, well, what is the Labour Party for? And this creates a space for the Green Party to step in, as indeed they're doing. And I think this is highlighted by a recent video by the Green Party, where they want to say, we are now the party of change. Labour have surrendered this territory. Let's make hope real again.
That's why we need a wealth tax. Not on plumbers, not on small businesses, not on ambition. Just a 1% tax on the assets of the super rich will help reduce inequality, give us warmer homes, an NHS that works, free and universal childcare, and air our kids can breathe. And by the way, if anyone tries to say to you, won't the super rich just leave? A more equal society? It's good for them too. Since the pandemic began, billionaire wealth in this country has doubled. Meanwhile, millions use food banks and warm banks as a lifeline. Some politicians seem confused. Do they serve the billionaires or do they serve you? I'm not confused. Ordinary people can't wait any longer. I'm here to make this call, but I can't do it alone. Will you stand with me? Let's bring back that feeling and make hope normal again.
I think we're in a moment of British politics where it's really difficult to make cast iron predictions. What Polanski has said that he wants to do is to replace the Labour Party as that progressive force in our politics. And certainly under Starmer, the Labour Party are leaving the door open to that becoming possible, which is why people are getting excited about a poll that puts the Green Party so close to the Labour Party in terms of their support. The Labour Party, in order to be successful, it has to be a broad coalition that encompasses the left. And what the Green Party is saying is, we can do that as well. We can occupy a space to Labour's left that encompasses a broader coalition of voters, and we can challenge the Labour Party by being that agent of change. Now, perhaps the difficulty with that strategy for the Green Party is that they're presenting an incredibly radical position at the moment, and that has the disadvantage, whilst exciting for people on the left, it has the disadvantage of alienating voters who are more sort of centrist. And that's where the Liberal Democrats become a problem for the Green Party, because it's the Liberal Democrats that are going to suck that support in a different direction. So I think what's actually going to happen is that the Labour Party are going to be losing support and continuing to lose support in all directions. The Green Party are going to take that segment of the electorate, progressive activists, normally Labour's most loyal voter base, and I don't think the Labour Party are going to be able to win them back. The Liberal Democrats are going to take that soft centre, and Reform are going to take away from Labour voters who are concerned about immigration. And so the Labour Party, in my view, is in an impossible position. And I think whatever they do, really, they're going to be losing votes to their left and to the right, and the Green Party are bound to benefit from that. The difficulty for the Green Party is that I think their support levels are capped, at least in terms of their current strategy, because there are only a certain number of people who believe the sorts of things that they believe, at least at present. And so what I struggle with is, how do you turn the Green Party from this party that wants to claim a set of voters that tend to live in urban areas, that tend to be younger, that tend to be more university educated, that tend to be quite middle class, frankly. How do you turn that segment of the population being energised behind the Green Party into a mass movement that encompasses the working class as well? And I don't have an answer for that. I think that the Green Party are doing some things that sort of gesture in the right direction. They're getting working class voices in the Green Party in a positions of leadership, and that's going to be part of the answer. But as things stand, I think the Green Party are going to do very well at the next election. But I think, my worry at least, is that their support is capped, and they're going to struggle to build that mass movement that they need to become if they're going to replace the Labour Party. Quite what that means for British politics, I don't know, because I think that British politics is a mess at the moment in this new era of multi-party politics where, frankly, it's difficult to predict anything. What I would say is, as I say, the Green Party are going to do well next time, maybe winning, 30, 40 seats. But I think where they're going to struggle is to build beyond that in the future. I hope I'm wrong, because I'm pretty enthusiastic about Polanski and the Green Party. And even getting the 30 or 40 seats is going to be a huge success, right? But I think that's where we are.